This is the company that's going to 10x in today's price by 2030. And it's a very important company. How important? Important enough that Tesla hired them to design osmosis trains for Giga Texas. And yes, I own quite a bit of stock of this company as well. But before we get into it, I do have to let you guys know that I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on YouTube that's going all in into Tesla stock and this stock as well. But not all in, that's only Tesla. But just know that this is only a prediction and a prediction only. And although you'll learn a lot in today's video, take everything with a grain of salt and always do your research. More DD is always needed. All right, now let's get into it. All you ask to return is a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's go, man. I'm so excited. Water. Yes, water. I know that's not the name of the company, but it's in that industry. More specifically, the clean drinking water business, aka water desalination. You see, guys, only 3% of Earth's water is fresh and 2/3 of it is tucked away in frozen glaciers. So really, we only have 1% of fresh water available, and that's running out pretty darn fast. How fast? Well, according to the World Count and other sources as well, they predict by 2040, so only 17 years away. So yeah, we're like already over 1 billion people on this planet don't have access to clean drinking water anymore. But all hope is not lost, because in today's world, we have technologies that can take water from the ocean, desalinate it to drinking water, to clean, fresh drinking water. In other words, unlimited water. Sheesh. So as you guys can see right off the bat, this is a major problem, and this is a problem that's going to continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger because we are running out of fresh water. And that comes to the company that I believe by 2030 it'll easily 10x or at least 5x by 2030, and that company is called H2O Innovation. This company designs and provides the technology to desalinate water for drinking. Their technology is already being used all around the world, like in the United States, Spain, China, and other countries, most likely in the Middle East. Oh, and can't forget to mention that this is a Canadian company, so proudly represent. And yes, this is the company that got the contract by Tesla to make the osmosis trains for Gigafactory Texas, so you already know this company is flippin' legit. Osmosis, not osmosis, osmosis. Sorry about that. Bruh. But before we get into the prediction, let's talk about the future and growth of water desalination. Desalination. Come on, Pejjy. Come on. It's been predicted that the water desalination industry will grow from $13.8 billion to $29.1 billion by 2030. That's about a 7% growth year over year, which isn't really much. And in my opinion, I think they're really downplaying it. I think this is more of an exponential growth. But anyways, other analysts are saying 15%, which I believe makes more sense because this solution is an exponential growth solution. It's not a linear thing that is going to grow at 7%, 8%, 9%. This is more like, okay, it's probably going to grow 8% this year, 10% next year, 11% next year, and so on and so forth. It's more of an exponential growth, kind of like Tesla. Tesla doesn't move like this, or the EV adoption doesn't move like this. It's moving like this. But to keep things simple, let's say 50% growth year over year. So now knowing a little bit of how important water is, let's jump into the prediction. But before we jump in, have you smashed that like button, man? Come on, man. Smash that like button. And let's go. So right off the bat, as you guys can see, 2020 all the way to 2022 have been completed. And yes, they finished 2022 already because their fiscal year ends in June of 2022, not at the end of the year. And yes, you guys have probably noticed too that this is more of a penny stock. The market cap in 2020 was only $90 million. Stock price of $1.08. In 2021, market cap almost tripled to almost $300 million with a stock price of $3.30. And that wasn't their all-time high. And in 2022, at the moment right now at the recording of this video, it's around $2.10 and a market cap almost reaching $200 million. So you guys see how this thing can 10x very, very easily. This is a company, this industry is a sleeping giant. No one's talking about it, but it's a problem that we need to fix, and this problem gets worse every single year. Companies like this will come to the rescue only when the height of the problem becomes too big. We can thank the media for that in the next 5 to 10 years. But moving on, let's go see what the stock price would be. Well, first, the revenue net income from 2023 all the way to 2030. And looking online, the best place I can find is simply Wall Street's. And even looking at theirs, they were very, very conservative. I mean, they're just downplaying it too, in my opinion. But we'll talk about that later. I'll even put what I think that they're going to do in terms of revenue and net income. Obviously, that'll impact the stock price as well. So let's go see what the conservative approach and what Wall Street is thinking. So simply, Wall Street is saying in 2023, they're going to do about 217 million, and in 2024, 232 million, and in 2025, 242 million in revenue. And as you guys can see before that in the chart, they jumped big time. And yet, simply Wall Wall Street is saying that, no, they're going to stay flat for a few years. That just doesn't seem realistic to me. But anyways, they don't see it that this is more of an exponential growth kind of thing and not a linear thing. But even moving on, even the net profits, the net income is ridiculous. They didn't even put it for 2025 because they weren't even sure. 2023 they put 7.4 million, and in 2024 they put 10 million, and 2025, well, we gotta figure that out together to see what it could potentially be. So overall, I'm not really impressed with simply Wall Street's predictions, but let's go on with it. We can change it later as we go. Now we gotta figure out the revenue from 2026 all the way to 2030, and then the income from 2025 to 2030. And I have this chart here that will tell us exactly how the company performed in the past and what we can expect for the future. So as we can see, for the sales and revenue from 2020 to 2021, there was an 8% growth. And then in 2021 to 2022, there was a 28% growth. So 8% to 28% is actually pretty darn impressive. And it had nothing to do with a pandemic or, a recession, nothing. This company is actually recession proof. People need to drink water. Whether you lost a whole bunch of money or, you can't afford to pay your rent, you're a human being. You need water. Without water, you can't live. Rip if you can't drink water. You need water. It's a necessity. You need to have it. You need to drink it. It's part of human life. So it's a recession-proof company. From 2022, from 2023, again, 2023 was, Wall Street's prediction. They're going to say a 17% growth. And then 2023 to 2024, 7% growth. You're kidding me. Look at the growth from 2020 to 2022. It's growing massively. 8% and then 28% and then you're saying 7%. Seriously, bro? Seriously? Overall, they've been growing at an average rate of 15%, which is pretty interesting because that's what one of the news articles said, that they're going to be growing at a 15% rate. I guess that makes sense. Let's move on to the net income. In 2020, they lost money, negative $4 million. But in 2021, they made money, $3.1 million. From 2021 to 2022, they grew 65%, not 6.5%, 60%. From 2022 to 2023, they grew 45%. And this is their prediction. They're predicting that in 2023, Wall Street's predicting that they're going to do 7.4 million in net income. And then 2024, 10 million, which is a 35% growth. All in all, the average percent growth or negative return is negative 7%, which doesn't make sense because we're taking account of, 2022. So if we remove that, that's about a 48% growth year over year. That's absolutely insane. 48% growth. This is like Tesla 2.0, man. That's ridiculous. Actually, Tesla's going to be growing over 100% this year, but anywho, nonetheless, 50% growth year over year. Sheesh, that deserves that. So now that we have a little bit of context and growth year over year percentage for revenue and profit, let's go figure out the total revenue and net income from 2025 all the way to 2030. For total revenue from 2026 and onwards, I just left it at straight 15%. No ups, no downs. Just keeping it conservative. Although we don't want to look at it linear, just gonna keep it very simple. 15% from 2026 all the way to 2030, we get $500 million. For net income, I just left it at 30% year over year growth because look at this. From 2021 to 2022, 65%. 45% and then 35%. Even Wall Street's prediction, they're saying over 30% growth year over year. So I'm going to say 30%, and that's conservative, by the way. I think they're going to do a lot more than that as they continue to scale and increase sales. Their gross margins are going to continue to increase, and they're going to make a whole lot of money as they move forward into the future. But 30% growth year over year from 2025 all the way to 2030, we get almost $50 million. So literally, we went from 5.1 million to almost 50 million. So almost a 10x in just net income. Sheesh, that's insane. Now, when it comes to shares outstanding, in 2021, they sold a lot of shares. They diluted a lot because, look, it hit an all-time high. I think it was around over 350, 360 bucks per share. Valuation over 300 million. So, 2021 was just the year of free money and, valuations is going up to the moon. And obviously, if you're management of a company and you see the opportunity and you think your stock is overvalued, you would sell. And yes, at that time in 2021, when it reached around over $3.50, value of over $300 million for this company, for H2O Innovation, that was overvalued. The PE hit over 100. and they weren't even making profits as consistent as they are now. At that time, it was overvalued. Now it's come down. The PE has come down to 37, as we can see. So it's getting more reasonable to buy. But in hindsight, it's getting very cheap to buy. But anyways, moving on. The shares outstanding from 2020 to 2021, there was a 10% dilution and then a 5% dilution into 2022. I said from 2023 to 2030, they're going to dilute 5%, even though I don't think they can dilute that much, because if they're going to be making almost $50 million every single year and they're growing at a very, very good rate, most likely this will be around 2 to 3% dilution, probably even not even diluting, maybe even doing a little bit of buybacks, depending on how the business is and how they think the future will look like for the company. But anyways, 5% every single year from 2023 to 2030, we get almost 133 million in shares outstanding, which is, peanuts compared to other companies. The EPS follows that as well. And now it's time to figure out the PE, what the stock price would be from 2023 to 2030. You guys ready, man? If you guys are ready, man, smash that like button. Let's go. So in 2022, it should be a 0 PE because they weren't making any money. It was a negative 0.06 EPS. So obviously, when EPS is negative, the PE doesn't exist. So sorry about that, guys. Let me go ahead and remove that. But in 2021, a PE shot up to almost 95, but an average around 90, which gave it a stock price of $3.30. The market cap almost reaching 300 million on the average. 2022, which is now, it's around 200 million. And, the stock price is around 210 cents. But in 2023, I gave it a PE of 30, and that will give us a stock price of $2.35 and a market cap over $220 million. And in 2024, I gave it a PE of 27, and the stock price will be $2.72 with a market cap of $270 million. In 2025, I gave it a PE of 25, and as you guys can see, I'm coming down in the PE because they keep crushing earnings. The earnings keep going higher and higher. That'll compress and suppress and bring down lower the PE, just how it works. And with a 25 PE, we get a stock price of $3.12 and a market cap of $325 million. In 2026, I put a PE of 25. I didn't go lower because I sense that some investors are thinking that, wait a minute, this company is crushing earnings year over year. They're growing very rapidly. They're growing very nicely. And water desalination is the future. Let me look into this company a little bit more. And so I can see them, slowly coming into the stock by 2026 or 2027. That's why I gave it a P of 25. And that will give us a stock price of $3.86 and a market cap of $423 million. In 2027, I gave it a P of 27. And even though they did a record year, I suspect that more investors and a little bit more of the media is going to get involved in this water desalination and this water crisis and all these things, how we're going to run out of water, and the only way to do it is going through companies and cleaning the ocean's water to drink it, fresh water is running out, all these kind of things. I kind of see this company getting, or the whole industry getting, more attention. And so I can see the PE slowly going up. Kind of think like Apple or Microsoft back in the day where they had a low PE and they slowly, as the company was doing better, the PE kept getting higher and higher and higher. Think about this company the same way as we go down into the future, 10 years, 20 years time. And with a 27 PE, we get a stock price of $5.16 and a market cap almost reaching $600 million. Look at that. It skipped the $4. Sheesh. In 2028, I gave it a PE of 28 and we get a stock price of $6.63 and a market cap almost reaching, $800 million. So that's amazing. In 2029, I gave it a PE of 30. Now we're getting now we're getting more exposure than ever, and we get a stock price of $8.79 and a market cap finally reaching over $1 billion. And in 2030, I gave it a PE of 35 because by then we only have 10 years left until all the fresh water or the ones that's available to us is going to run out, and we need to fix this problem as soon as possible. And so they gave it a PE of 35, and that would give the stock price of $12.70 and a market cap almost reaching $1.7 billion. So sheesh, that's absolutely insane. But
Pejjy, man, you said 10x. It hasn't 10x yet.
Again, this is through Wall Street's prediction and stretching it out. This is not what I think will happen. I think this is the minimum that could happen in my opinion. And even with that, that's a 6x. That's absolutely crazy. Just go ahead and look at the chart. Look at that exponential growth. That's what it should be, and that's what it will be in the next 10, 15, 20 years. Let's go ahead and see what I think, because I think, come on, only a 17% growth from 2022 to 2023. What are you smoking, man? If we dive deep into H2O's investors presentation, or the Q2 or Q4 of 2022 of June when they closed out, they said that by 2023, they're gonna do about 250 million in sales, and by 2024, around 300 million. So that's insane. That's flipping crazy. So let's put that in. And again, we're going to say 15% from 2024 to 2025 is going to be growth. From 486 million, it's changed to almost 700 million in sales. Sheesh. Now, I do think they're going to grow a lot faster than this at the end of the decade, because more customers and more countries are in need of this technology. But let's go ahead and look at the net income, because that's what's going to change everything. So in net income, if we use the same ratio from revenue to net income in the previous prediction that Wall Street is saying, that means net income by 2023 should be 8.8 million. And in 2024, it should be 13 million. And so look at that. We went from 48 million to 63 million in net income. And look at that. The stock price is now, with a 35 PE, is around $16.51. Over $2 billion in market cap. So that's about around an 8x, a bit more than 8x, but do we really think that 35 PE is going to happen by 2030 if they're getting so much attention and if it's a need? That means more growth is expected with this company. I put a PE of 45. I know a PE of 45 sounds a little bit too steep, but if the demand is high and this is a need company, you need this company for the human society. Again, human needs water to survive. And with a 45 PE, it's about $21.23. Our market cap almost reaching $3 billion. And even then, it's such a small number to what it could be by 2030. However, though, there's your 10x from $21 all the way from $2.10. So literally a 10x if these numbers become true. And here's a chart how it looks like. Obviously 2030 is stretched out a bit, but that's because we only changed the PE for 2030. Obviously, if the PE of 45 is going to be by 2030, 2029, 2028, 2027 will be adjusted too. Maybe by 2029, it'll be a 35 PE, and by 2028, it'll be a 30 PE, and then, so on and so forth. But sheesh, man, look at the exponential growth. That's crazy. And everyone's predicting this is more of a linear thing. It's not. The water problem is big, it's getting bigger, and it's more of an exponential growth kind of thing. It'll come a time where, every country in the world will have some sort of a water desalination technology, because it's a need. You have to have it. Fresh water, again, only 1% available, 2/3 stuck in frozen glaciers. Good luck getting them, and if they melt, well, we got sea levels rising as well. So really, unless we're all hoping for the glaciers to melt, this is your next solution. This is the best solution, and these technologies will get cheaper over time, and every country will need to use it, because for survival they need to have it. This is more of a national security in the next 10, 15, 20 years as we go forward. This is a need, it's a must. Can't stress that enough. Now, one concern that you may have is, wait a minute, there's so many other companies out there that does, water desalination. And you know what? You're right. There's quite a bit of companies out there that do this, that provide the technology for water desalination. However, though, what's different about this company is that they have strong sales and they're actually making money. That's the important part. And of course, the other water desalination companies are not public yet for trading or for investing. So when you look at this company and when you look at the sales, when you look at the profits, I'm telling you, the future looks bright with this company. Even looking at their balance sheets, they're extremely, extremely healthy. They could pretty much almost pay off their entire debt with their current assets. The only concern I have with this company is that they're taking on more debt at a time where no one should really take on more debt. However, though, they do continue to make a lot of earnings and a lot of profits. So it seems like they've done their math, they've done their homework, that even if they pay a high interest rate, they can still pay the interest off. And not only that, the company has won a lot of awards for the technology and their solutions. So, these guys are going places. Now, if you're in a country that's been drinking fresh water and you're wondering how, water desalination tastes in general, well, let me tell you, because I have this first-hand experience, because I do work and live in Kuwait at the moment. Kuwait is in the middle of the desert and we don't have fresh water, but we do have a water desalination out in the ocean, and that's how we drink our water daily. And let me tell you, it tastes like water. Comment down below, because it's a debate. if water has a taste or not. I really don't know how to answer this question, if it has a taste or not, but comment down below what you guys think. It's filtered, it feels good, it's just water, it feels like water, it's water. I don't know how else to explain it. But from experience, water desalination is the solution for our water crisis in the world. And this will continue to grow as we go forward in our lives. 2030, 2040, 2050. This is what's going to rescue the humankind in terms of drinking fresh water. So those guys who are fear-mongering you, saying that we're gonna run out of water and we're all gonna die soon. No, the solution is here, it's being worked on, and it's being implemented all over the world. And those who are negative about the water situation, they're probably also negative on Tesla. Yes, Tesla is down 50% from their all-time high at the moment, but by 2030, the stock price is gonna be ridiculous. Check the video here. You guys will see what's up. You guys can also support the channel by smashing that like button or becoming a member of this channel. You get some cool perks. But check out some merch, guys, and don't forget to subscribe, and I shall see you guys in the next video. See ya.